Anything could happen on this show. You never can tell.
Hey everybody, it's Pam here for the Rock and Roll Show with Pam and Joe, and I'm Pam.
And I am Joe. It's great to be with you tonight. Be sure to check out our website, dickbiondifilm.com, like our Facebook page, and join our Facebook group. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our honor and our pleasure to introduce to you musician, singer, songwriter, and founder of the legendary rock group, the Buckinghams. Ladies and gentlemen, Carl Giammarese. Carl!
Hey!
Hey!
How are you? I'm on. Thank you.
Good. How are you?
So much. I'm doing great. I hope you guys are doing wonderfully, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to come on and talk about my favorite crazy Australian, Dick Biondi.
Ours too.
So many
Ours too, yes.
great memories, you know, and it's, hey, here we are, you know.
Yeah,
Hope
thank
you guys are
so
well. I'm doing good, and it's crazy times we're in, huh?
Yeah,
Yes, we
for
are.
sure.
Glad
And we'll
you're
get
doing
to
well.
that in a minute. Right now, I wanted to ask you, well, I want to thank you for being part of the Dick Biondi movie, the documentary. Do you realize it's 6 years now since I've been doing this?
I know. I mean,
It's
I
crazy.
thought about that when I was thinking about the show, you know, doing the show today, and I realized it's been that long, and it's hard for me to believe it's been a year already since we did that thing at Bourbon Street, you know,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
fundraiser there,
That
which
was awesome. Thank you
such a
so much. For,
fabulous turnout. Man.
what a day that was. I'll
It
never
was
forget it.
terrific.
Yeah.
So
It was.
you're part of the film, and when we were interviewing you, you were talking about Dick Biondi and the music scene back in the '60s and how Dick helped so many people. Can you tell our audience what kind of things Dick Biondi did for the Buckinghams and for the other bands that were coming up?
Well, you know, to begin with, I mean, you know, probably our most fabulous year was 1967. And I think Dick was with WCFL at that time or whatever, but we used to go up to the stations all the time and visit the radio personalities, and of course go up there to say hi to Dick. And he was always so open and friendly and giving, and always made time for us. You know, we were just so excited to be in the studio or up at the radio station, and he was just so supportive because, you know, back in the day, we were trying to get started. We were trying to get our records played. And Chicago radio, especially Dick Biondi, was so good about, playing our record, putting it on a rotation, you know, and actually, you know, like they were already hit records. You know, this was like in 1966, 67. So that support meant so much, because I know our manager, Carl Bonifetti, used to drive him crazy. You know, he was always pressuring him to play our records. But he was always there for you, and always had a nice thing to say, and promoted you to different people and introduced you to people. And it was just, that's the kind of guy he was, you know.
That's right.
So, yeah, but those were the early memories in 66, 67 of him being in Chicago. And then another special time was 1984, I think it was, or 80s, when we had gotten back together and started playing again on a national level, the Buckinghams. And I think it was with WJMK then. And that was an important time for us because not only would he play our records whenever he could, but he would come out and join, and through the years he's done this, but he's come out and emceed shows, you know, and it was always there. And his favorite thing to say to me all the time was, "Are you mad at me?" He would always say that to me.
He said that to me too.
Did I do something wrong? Are you mad at me for something? You know, I go, "Dick, quit asking me that." You know, ask me that. You know,
How could you be mad at that guy? You know,
Oh, my
it's
gosh.
such a joy.
And for us, the Buckinghams, you know, we got out more on a national level and playing in the 80s, the 90s, whatever. And no matter what city we were in, there was always some radio personality, somebody that we would meet if we're in New York or wherever, Boston, West Coast, that come up and say, "Do you know Dick Biondi?" You know, it's like, you know, everybody knew him on a national level. You know,
That's
they would
right.
want to hear, they'd want to hear a story about Dick, you know, or something that you knew him. And, you know, he was legendary, you know, and not as famous as he was in Chicago and everybody knew him on a national level. This guy was out there.
You got it. A
got
lot
it.
of people in Chicago don't realize that, but they're going to find out.
We used to, he worked at a
Yeah.
station in Myrtle Beach. I forget the call letters now, but this
WNMB.
that's what it was. And this we used to go there and play all the time. And he was a radio guy. Bill Norman was the guy that ran the station. Unfortunately, he passed away. But you know, he used to talk about Dick all the time. You know, days.
That's great.
So it's great.
Awesome. That's fantastic. You know, Carl, the 1960s music scene, especially in Chicago, I mean, legendary, and a lot of amazing bands came out of the area. And the Buckinghams, of course, were huge in the 1960s.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you could tell our audience about the Buckinghams' #1 hit, "Kind of a Drag."
Well, you know, we were so fortunate that that song came to us, you know, and, you know, at the time we were a cover band playing dances, teen hops, you know, the Holiday Ballroom, whatever, around Chicago. And, you know, our repertoire was, you know, we do R&B songs, we do Beatles songs, whatever. There weren't any really songwriters in the band at the time. And we were looking for an original song. And our manager, Carl Bonifetti, knew this songwriter, Jim Holvey, and Jim was the guitar player in a band, The Mob, and they were a big show band. So the Mob was not, he wasn't writing songs that were right for the Mob, you know. But Carl tapped on him to write something for us, and I think he showed up at his house or at a hotel room with a reel-to-reel tape player, you know, and for him to record a song, you know. Is that your daughter?
I'm sorry, that's my son. Sorry, everybody.
Hi there.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
okay.
Carl.
That's all right. That's fine. That's okay.
Sorry.
I'm waiting for my dog to walk in here now.
I'm sorry, folks. That was my son Wyatt who snuck in here. Sorry. Everything's
no
good.
problem. No problem. So anyway, Carl Bonifetti tapped on Jim Holvey to write a song, and he says, "Well, I got this one song," and he had I think an old. It was like an old beat up acoustic guitar, and he played, you know, kind of a drag, you know, he kind of slow and easy, and Carl recorded it on this reel-to-reel tape player. This had to be early in '66, I want to say. And so Carl brought it back to us. He says, you know, my friend Jim Holvey wrote this, and we listened to it, and there was something catchy about it, you know, something special. It just that, you know, it's a term we use today. Hey, that's kind of a drag, you know. I mean, you still say that all the time. And the hook in the beginning with that big dun 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 at the beginning, and it had all. So we rehearsed it, and you know, back in those days, we would rehearse in someone's basement. You know, we weren't really a garage band. We were a basement band. We'd rehearse in your parents' basement until they had enough. You'd last a week, and then go to the next guy's house. You know. But I remember rehearsing that song, and I remember my mother coming down, and she says, "You know, that song really has something special. You know, I really like that song. That could be a hit for you guys." And so we took it in the studio. Dan Belloc was our producer, and you know, Dan owned the Holiday Ballroom, you know, and he was producing us at the time, and he was a big band leader, and he decided he thought the song could sound a lot better with horns, because we weren't a horn band at the time. So he got his trombone player Frank Tazinski to write charts for the song, and so we put the horns to it, recorded it, and USA Records, which we were with at the time, waited a while to put it out, but then they finally released it. And oh my God, by February of '67, it was the #1 record in the country. It knocked the Monkees, "I'm a Believer," right off the #1 slot.
Whoa.
Wow.
You know, and there we were, you know, this local band with the #1 record in the country, and then the rest of history. I mean, and then Jim Holvey, who wrote that, gave us we tapped on him. He gave us "Don't You Care" when we went to Columbia Records, and then he gave us "Hey Baby, They're Playing Our Song," and Susan.
Great song.
Wow.
You
And
know,
Susan. Oh my gosh.
so yeah, so he
That's
just kept
great.
writing them, and we kept recording them,
Yeah.
and you know, and we created a horn sound too, that trombone driven horn sound
Yeah.
that our producer Jim Guercio, later when he managed and produced the group Chicago, it was sort of a extension to that sound, you know, that kind of voicing on the horn. So it all came together, and you know, we're very lucky, you know. It just here we are over 50 years later, and still out there and playing.
Incredible.
And
It is incredible.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
and,
because
yeah.
the music you recorded and wrote and performed is so memorable and just so amazing. And
Yeah.
I learned of Dick Biondi, and I learned of the Buckinghams through Dick Biondi when I listened to WJMK. And
Yeah.
when your songs came on, I was like, whoa, it
Yeah,
grabbed me right
yeah,
away.
yeah.
And that brings me to my next question. Is it true that the Who opened up for the Buckinghams? Is that true?
That is true. We played some dates, a couple dates with them in Kansas City area, and they were just starting to get known in this country. And I think My Generation was out at the time, that song, and they were, you know, crazy guys. I mean, Keith Moon was out of his mind, and so yeah, they opened, and it got so bad they used to destroy all the equipment in those days. You know, they'd smash the microphones and their guitars and everything, and we almost couldn't go on after they finished because they had to piece things together and tape up the microphones. And
My God.
Oh gosh.
you know, I have some old pictures of us in the dressing room, and we were using some I think it was a high school space they gave us in the locker room for a dressing room, you know. But yeah, it was difficult. We even brought him up. I remember we took Keith Moon with us. We went to visit the radio station. We were invited up to the station. I can't remember now the call letters, but he came up, and they were giving away as a prize a sitar. You know, it was very popular at the moment, and that was it. So Keith Moon proceeded to play around with this thing, and he broke half the strings. And,
Gosh.
and the radio personality was he was the program
Oh,
director.
God.
He was so upset. He says, "I will never play a Who record again. I'll never play." You know, and soon after that, they became the super group that they became. And of course, they had to play their records then.
Of course.
You know.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah,
Unreal.
but that was, you know, it was a crazy time. And Nick Fortuna would tell you a story about, we were at a hotel in New York, and I think it was the City Square Hotel, and Keith Moon called his room, and he says, "Go to your window and look out the window." And he said, "Okay," and he walked over to the window, and all of a sudden, television set through a TV. They hit the ground. My God, he could have hit somebody and killed someone. You know, I mean, that's the crazy stuff those guys
Wow.
Never understand that, but hey, it's rock and roll, I guess.
do. Well, we were younger then, and we went from talking about girls all the time to our aches and pains now. Now it's like, oh, my shoulders.
No,
Hey, do you have this problem with your knee? My back is, you know, I mean, it's changed. So
I talked to Susan
times change.
yesterday, your manager, your wonderful manager, Susan. She's such a sweetheart and such a sharp
She
gal.
advances dates for us. You know,
yeah.
she's an actual
I
manager.
know. She tells
she's
me
really-
that you are car crazy. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm car crazy. I just want to say, Susan is a wonderful addition to us because she's been with us for so many years now. She joined us, I think it was around late 80s or whatever, and she was the first person to start merchandising for us. She brought us that idea to sell CDs and T-shirts, or it wasn't even CDs at the time. But and then she ran a fan club when we had a fan club. Now she advances dates for me. You know, when a date comes in, she makes sure everything's. So she's been a great addition, and we have her, and we have another lady, Dawn Lee Wakefield, who does sort of publicist work, and she, you know, does a lot of stuff. She's magnificent.
She's very
really
talented,
sharp,
Dawn.
really sharp, very
Yes,
talented writer.
very
So
talented.
between the two, you know, we have a lot of help. That
Yeah,
And
and they stick with you a long time too. The question is cars, apparently.
Oh, cars, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
my wife always jokes that you know, if I changed wives as often as I do cars, I'd really be in financial trouble. I tell you. No, I love cars. My first Porsche was back in when we were doing the Smothers Brothers show in California, and I think it was Dick Smothers' Porsche 911, and I just fell in love with that thing. I came back to Chicago and ordered one, you know, and that was my first. Back when a Porsche was $7,500, that's how much it cost. You know.
Wow.
Of course, back then that was a lot of money. You know,
That's true.
68, 69, whatever. But I've had, you know, we don't. The show's not long enough for me to go through the history of my automobiles. You know.
But do you like classic cars, or do you like more?
I like classics, but I'm more into, you know, I'm more into the more exotic cars.
Okay.
I can't say I've ever had a Ferrari or Lamborghini. You know, I leave that up to Jim Peterick. You know, he's got a Lamborghini. But I've had many upscale Porsches and Alfa Romeos, and as a matter of fact, I'm driving a muscle car now. I've got a brand new Mustang. You know.
Wow, nice.
Nice. Man.
So, yeah. You know, I go
Awesome.
back and forth, but
That's cool.
it's fun. It's one of my weaknesses, cars. You know.
That's all right. You know, it's
racing.
It's such an unusual time with the pandemic going on, and what have you been doing to keep yourself busy, and what's in store for you and the Buckinghams once everything kind of gets back to normal and you're able to kind of get back to your normal routine, so to speak? Well,
hopefully we'll get back to normal soon, and what we hope to do is pick up playing again. You know, we had the last dates we played, the whole band was in February. We were in Palm Springs, and we took a red-eye flight to New Jersey to play a show on the 29th of February. And then we played one more show. We did an unplugged show at the Genesee Theater with the group America. We opened for them, and it was just me, Nick, and Dave Zane, our guitar player. We did an unplugged 2 acoustic guitars and a bass, and it went really well.
That's the first time you did that, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, and
it went over really well, I heard.
Yeah,
it did. And America, I know they want us to do some more dates with them, but that's the last time we played. That was March 6th, and then everything everything got crazy right after that. So I'm hoping, I don't know how long, you know, everything was canceled that we had in March, April, May, June, July. We still have some dates in August, and I hope we can do some of those. You know, I know we're scheduled to do some Cornerstone dates. We're in Orland Park on August 22nd, Oshkosh on August 13th, I think it is, and maybe August 7th is supposed to be in Elmwood Park. You know, I was excited because we had such a busy year. Now, all those dates either got canceled or moved to next year. Yeah. So, you know, maybe we'll have a busy 2021, you know. But some of those August dates, we'll see what happens. You know, I mean, I stopped posting our dates because it's changing every other day, and it's just hard to keep up with that, you know. So, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but the rest of the year, and I'm just, it's devastating. And when you see the suffering and pain that people have gone through, it's tough.
It is.
You know, to see that, and it's scary. It is frightening, you know. But hey, we'll get through it. This is a great country. I've been busy I've been doing my videos. You know, I do these song video.
Those have been terrific.
15. Yeah, it's fun to do that. I keep in touch.
Yeah,
I've got a recording project going on right now with an old friend that an older gentleman who wrote some really great songs, funny songs, that he got me to produce them for him, and I've been doing them in my little studio,
Oh, great.
keeping busy with that and doing the videos, and it's just hanging out, and it's I'm lucky because I've got a great home, and my wife's very supportive, and so much of the time it doesn't feel any different than any other day, and then you're reminded, of course, you turn on the news.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, now you said you had something special you'd like to do?
Oh, I just want to do this real quick because I'm thinking of Dick, and you guys. You got to join in with me. Let
me get
Oh, okay.
on top of a pizza,
all covered with cheese.
I saw my
Some
first meatball till
somebody sneezed
One more. It rolled
off the table
and onto
to the floor.
Right out
the door. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, bravo.
I had to
Bravo.
put a little of that in there.
That's great. That's
well, maybe
awesome.
Dick will be watching.
Thank you, Carl. That was terrific.
I hope so.
At least one thing, if he sees that version, he will say, maybe not think his is as bad as he thinks it is. When he heard me singing.
Or me singing.
It's once again, I mean, we love Dick, and we wish him well, and I know he's had some difficulties, and he's out there, and I just, my thoughts and prayers go out to him, and wishing him the best, and he's just meant so much to us, and he's done so much for the industry and the business, and I know what you guys are doing, trying to get this the Dick Biondi film done, is this documentary is important. I think it's really an important thing.
It's very important.
And people should get out and support it, and the GoFundMe page, and do whatever they can to make it a success.
Thank you for that.
Thanks, Carl.
Okay,
yes,
well,
absolutely.
Thank you for joining us today, Carl. This was so much fun, getting to know you a little better. And
it was fun for me too. I'm enjoying doing.
Thank you, Carl.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Be safe. Be well.
Yes, be safe. We love you.
Be safe. I'm going to head off, and be safe, everybody. Thank you again, Carl. Thank you. And be sure to check out dickbeyondifilm.com, our Facebook page, and our Facebook group.
Thank you, Joe.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.